In this part, I want to mention that black women are also targeted with these collective voodoo spells or these sexual triangulation spells. With them, it works a bit different than how it's conducted on white women and East Asian women. With black women, it goes like this. They are targeted with images of slavery over and over again. What does this do to their mind? What does it do to the mind of a child if people that look like her, because I'm talking about the women now, if people that look like her, women that look like her are always portrayed in an undermined position? When you have movies about black people, not always, but often it's turned into a slave movie. Even though we have more in our history than slavery. We have a history before the Portuguese arrived in West Africa in 1444. And even after the Portuguese arrived in 1444, and in 1619 when the whole export of slaves turned genocidal, we still had other histories. Despite that horrific era of the transatlantic slave trade. But what they do, and this is the collective voodoo spell done on black women, they keep on showing black women in an undermined position over and over again. And at the same time, they put images of white feminists who take on this masculine attitude, and they put those into their face also. So you have a white female that takes on this masculine attitude, which is an abomination. And besides that, you have images of black females in an undermined position. If you confront someone, or not confront, if you expose someone from the time they're a little baby till they're adult to images like this all the time, what does it do with the mind? It causes her, the black woman, to think that she is undermined, and that the only way she can become something is when she becomes like that feminist figure who has an abominable attitude. And at the same time, you always make sure you portray black men in a negative daylight, either as predators or as Uncle Toms, so they sell out their own people, or as coons, always playing the victim while they're not, or you portray them as failures. By doing this over and over again, you program black women not to trust on the men of their own community. And this leads to sexual dysfunction in the black community. And the daughters that are born will be exposed to the same programming, and they'll have father issues. And those father issues or those father complexes will lead to more generational harm. And by doing that, black people are kept in the state of stagnation, or they're pushed into the state of stagnation, which excuses the relief seeking of the rest of the world. So that's how the pyramid scheme is going. You have Apollo, that Nephilim at the top, that blonde-haired, blue-eyed Nephilim, and now you have his priest class, who are the wizards, and you have the sellouts. They keep this pyramid scheme going, and to keep it going, everyone must aim to be like the people that look like Apollo, quote-unquote white people. I don't consider Apollo people because it's not a human being, but you get what I'm saying. And Asia, you have East Asians as a compensation for it. So everyone wants to be like them to be accepted. So in order for this worship of whiteness to work, there needs to be an alternative that people are horrified about. And that alternative is black people. But for this to work, black people must be kept in a negative state for generation after generation. And you need black people to comply with their own destruction. And the way this is accomplished is also by hacking female spirituality and female sexuality of black women through those collective voodoo spells, so that now the demons can use them to drain black men. or any man they get involved with. So this collective voodoo spell is done on all women on the earth. But depending on ethnicity, the program is a bit different. So for black women who are watching this, I'm glad you're watching this video. And I'm addressing believers now. So if you're not born again, become born again and serve Christ. Realize that your value does not depend on being accepted by this world. Your value does not depend on being approved by this society. This society is keeping you in bondage. This society wants you to be the laughingstock so that they can feel at ease with themselves. Why do you want validation and acknowledgement from such a society? Are you out of your mind? Well, some of you are. Straight up. I'm telling you as it is. And you need to face this about yourself and recognize, okay, I need to face this, I need healing, I need to be better. When you do that, black women, you're very blessed. That's the beginning of healing in the black community. It's not just transatlantic slave trade and all the racism and all the racist laws that are haunting black folks. It's also this collective voodoo spell. We just don't recognize what it is. Because we think voodoo is when you go to some witch doctor and they make a doll and they do their black magic on the doll and it affects a real human being somewhere. Well, that is a type of voodoo, but it's not the root of it. The root of it is hijacking female spirituality to use it against the human species. And that's what the sellers of the human population with the sins of demons have been doing for thousands of years. And it continues because worldly people keep believing the scams of Satan. Straight up. So, to all the black female believers watching this, know who you are in Christ and stop seeking the short-lived rewards of the world. Because according to their pyramid scheme, you ought to be down there. It's just because the influence of the gospel is way too much that they don't enforce it openly, even though there are those who really want to enforce it openly now. So, keep agreeing with Christ, be at peace.